Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Garcia, and I'm doing this podcast for my Women's Studies 11 class, which is the study of LGBTQ plus community. And today's topic is going to be media and representation. Here today we have Caleb. Caleb,
Hi, I'm Caleb Benson. I'm a psychology major, and this is my second year here at Fresno State.
okay. So Caleb, what is your experience with the LGBTQ plus community within media?
Um, I noticed over the years it's like there being more representation in regards to like LGBT characters being not just like the side character or not like the butt of a joke, but actually being main characters and having like real storylines. Um, so there's definitely a lot more of that today, especially now. But that's the general trend that I've been seeing in media.
Definitely. Can you give me any examples of like one of your favorite either movies or TV shows that you've watched like growing up to like now? So like what would you say was like the earliest representation that you remember seeing?
Earliest representation? Hmm. It, I'd say like when I was younger, it wasn't as much as like entire shows or movies that I had seen centered around like LGBT characters or being the main characters. It was more like them as like side characters in shows where it's kind of like hinted at or like oh like they have a partner or like it's like implied. That was like growing up. And then more and more as I got older, then it was like more included in media like with Modern Family, that was like a big example. How it had like two dads in there and their adopted daughter. Um, I could say that was an example of like when I saw on television, me personally, like actual like gay characters with like a that weren't just like side characters, but like a main part of the story.
Definitely, I love watching like Modern Family, and I think they portray like the families in the LGBTQ plus community really well.
Yeah.
So that's a really good example. How would you say um like social media portrays like the LGBTQ plus community?
I will it's a lot more accepted now, people being able to share their experiences openly online. Um, and there's so many like communities that like talk about like LGBT like news, or you even see like brands on social media too that like during Pride Month have their special campaigns related to that. And so you see it a lot more now on social media than before, and it's a lot more accepted. And I think that it's good for people to be able to like see this online and social media and find their spaces because there's communities for like all of the different types of like identities that people have in the LGBT community. So that's what I've seen on social media.
Of course, yeah, it's really good to have that like representation as like that in like a community, especially for people who don't get to see it as often. Like you said, like growing up, you didn't really see like the main character and you didn't really see like an example of like it like what it looks like. Like you see regular parents like usually like a mom and a dad like represented in like these movies and stuff, and like you
Yeah.
never get to see that until you said like Modern Family. Like here you have like these this family that's like non, like
They're
just
like a blended family.
exactly. And it's really good to have like that representation, especially like such a positive representation too. So
Yeah.
that's really good. I've noticed more and more just like TV shows and movies are being centered around the LGBTQ plus community. And how do you feel about that? Like, what are some of your favorite shows to watch?
On Netflix, I watched Queer Eye. It's like I think it's like the Fab Five, and they go around and like do makeovers for people. And I believe it was a reboot of a show from I don't know if it was like the 90s or something, but they made over like men and women, and they weren't always just straight people too. So I thought that was cool. I'd say that one, and then I watched Heartstopper with my sister. I know that's like a really cute, like wholesome, like love story. So those are my favorite shows that I've seen. But I know that people like, while there's more representation now, people still have like kind of their issues in regards to it always being like the troubled coming out story, or like depictions of characters getting kicked out of their homes or like having really traumatic experiences. And so you do see that narrative pushed often, like, or it's always about the character and then coming out, but not them just like being gay or like being lesbian and like living like a normal life. It's always like really centered around their sexuality, and like them coming out and like dealing with negative experiences. So I think that like a really good movie, well, a movie that I liked that kind of changed this a little bit was Love, Simon, because it
Mhm.
was like his coming out story, but it wasn't like traumatic. It was more about like the personal struggles he had, but he didn't like get kicked out of his house, and like he wasn't like abused, and like he was really accepted by everybody. And so that's like shows like that aren't just centered around like the negative aspect of it, but showing how positive it could be, and making people feel more comfortable about one day being able to come out to their family or friends. I think media like that's good.
Yeah, what's some changes you would love to see like in the future for media and representation?
I would like to see like I said earlier, like more stories where like, the characters they're a part of the LGBTQ plus community, but it's not like their entire storyline. Like, they're they like the normal storylines you see with like heterosexual characters, or they're like drama, or like I don't know, they're like superheroes or whatever. They're just doing other stuff, and it's not so centered around like their sexuality. I think that's what we need to see more of, because it's often where it's like the same thing, like, oh, I'm afraid to come out and this and that. But I think it'd be great to see stories where like that's already happened and we're past that, and they're just living their lives.
Yeah, that's a really good goal to have for the media. But yeah, that's basically spot on. I know like in history, the LGBTQ plus community wasn't really portrayed positively, and it's gone a long way since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. Let's see, how long was that?